All right, welcome on into the Wednesday mixing stream here. We are mixing a song called Do You Want to Know a Secret today? Another Beatles cover here, so another easy little song, but these are always kind of a challenge mixing something that's so sparse instrumentation wise. As always, if you want to download the multi-tracks for the song, link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can see the title of the song up here. Do you want to know a secret? As always, there's tons of other multi-tracks on that page as well, completely for free. You can download them. There's links back to the streams, so you can mix along with the streams or just use the multi-tracks for your own mixing practice here. I do have a little bit of stuff going on some of these tracks already. Main thing going on though is the mix bus processing here. So I have the console shaper up, drive set to 0. No noise, crosstalk, anything like that. Then my mix bus compressor, still using this PreSonus Britcomp here, their SSL style bus compressor. Thresholds at negative 1.6, 2-to-1 ratio, 30 millisecond attack, 100 millisecond release. So being pretty gentle because we are affecting the entire mix here. And then we got a dB of makeup gain on the output there. And last but not least in the chain on the mix bus, or my mix A here, is the Sawtooth tape machine. I run this pretty close to the default here. Amounts up to 5.1, so just a click above default. And then I run it on the B setting for more bottom end warmth and 30 inches per second, which I think is the default there. At the very, very end of the chain, so my mix A, which is my pseudo type mix bus here, runs into my actual mix bus that has just a limiter bumping everything up by 6 dB into a negative 1 dB ceiling. Gives me that mastering vibe and that little bit of limiting that you get on the output. But you can see I have my main pulled down by 6 dB, about 6 dB, so I don't have the really loud volume that I'm listening to the whole time there. So that's the mix bus processing. We're going to scroll over. No toms to contend with on this one, just kick, snare, overheads, and room, the mono room. We're going to start with our kick drum here. Zoom in a little bit and kind of see what is what here with this track. First thing in the chain here on the kick drum is the limiter. Let's make sure it's... I don't want to push it too hard, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back about 2 dB. So we'll go down to 9, kind of see what... And then we'll double it up. So I'm going to pull it down. I don't like pushing it over 3 dB these days, so let's come down to 10 and kind of see. That feels better. I might go one down from there too, so let's go. I like that. EQ next here. High pass filter. Ringing frequency there. I'm just going to notch that all the way out. Compressor next in the chain here. I want to do any kind of compression and volume control before I start boosting any top end on the kick drum here. That actually feels good. We're doing about 8 dB reduction there. Seems like a lot, but emphasizes our attack. Now we'll boost some top end. Feels good to start. Let's get some bottom in here though. That feels pretty good to start. You promise not to tell. On to our snare drum. Kick drum already sits way better inside the track there. It looks like we've got stacked limiters already going on our snare drum. Let's see. Are there some big peaks that we have to contend with? Let's see where we're hitting there. See, that's already... Let's pull that down. So we'll go to -10 here. Okay, so our first one we'll have at -10. And -12 is fine, I guess. So you can see overall from these limiters, we're getting just over 4 dB reduction, right? So like 2.5 here, and then just another 1.5 to 2 on top to just grab those bigger peaks that pop through. It gives us some overall control on the snare drum. There's a little bit of ring on the snare drum, but it's nothing that bothers me. It's a nice tone. Got our compressor in place, doing about 6 dB reduction. Let's get some top on it. Right there feels good. And then I want to pull up some mid-range here. Right there feels really good. Lots of crack and lots of pop on the snare drum there. Now, when we boost that much, we'll need a little extra level of control here. So let's see how crazy our snare drum is. So that's, oh. So actually we can just push that back. And actually we have this here. So let's fix that first and make sure everything's okay there. Okay, let's adjust our compressor. There was an extra dB boost there that we don't need. Cool, so we can pull that back and just grab those bigger peaks there. And a little bit of weight at the end. Cool, here's our overheads. Flip to mono for just a moment. Nice and balanced. I'm gonna pull out some of this low mid mud, but that's about it. Cool. All right, here's our mono room. Same kind of thing here. The only added benefit, or the only added move I do on the mono room is I roll off a lot of top end. High pass, low pass, and then you can hear the extra energy we get on the kick drum from the mono room, and then when we add in the stereo room, the Bricasti here, which is this guy, that's going to beef up our snare drum more. Here's our bass guitar. Starting off with the frequency split trick here, rolling off everything below 180 at a 24 dB per octave slope, and then on our amp, everything below 180. Same thing, 24 dB per octave slope there, so not too big of a crossover. Listen, you want to know. So violin style bass here, we got a lot more low mids to pull out. Lots of compression. A little bit of this 700 area. If it wasn't a violin style bass, if it didn't have the holes on it, it wasn't more mid-rangey, I would add more of this to kind of get some bite out of it, but just a little bit goes a long way here. I do want top though. A little bit of noise, but that's okay. It's the Dave Pensado saying. It sounds like the ocean, right? Post compression here, I'm going to add some multiband to clamp down on the bottom end. So 180 hertz and below. And something I've been doing more lately is actually adding something to catch any peaks in the top end. Cool. Now let's beef up this. We clamp down on the bass a little bit harder there just because he's sliding up, and we want the low end to stay really, really consistent and powerful even when he does slide up to higher notes. So clamp down on it a little bit harder there, and then boost it a ton of bottom end here to get it nice and big.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? You promise not to tell. Whoa.
Here's our electric. High pass to start. So some big boosts there in the top end, but we're going to add this multi-band at the end of the chain, looking at 1K and above to kind of make sure nothing gets too crazy up there. I'm tempted to use the gain there on the end of the multi-band, but we'll just leave it for now. A little heavy, so I'm gonna roll off some of that bottom. Now, if there were more instruments in this track, if there were more guitars, more keys, strings, organ, what have you, in this track, I wouldn't boost as much mid-range here, but same little bit of protection there.
In your ear. To know a secret, do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me. I've known the secret for the weak. Listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Now listen. Now listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Listen. Do you want to know a secret? Whoa, whoa, closer.
Cool, so a little bit of starting here on the vocal. High pass filter to start.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell?
About 7 to 10 dB reduction here with the 1176 at 0.55 milliseconds on the attack. Trying to see that, lights in my eyes there. And then 50 milliseconds on the release, so fastest release. Kind of a medium slow attack for this unit. Pulling in the multiband for some de-essing, so just looking at 4K and above here, 20:1 ratio. Let's start boosting some top end though and kind of get this vocal shaped.
And do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa. And do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer, listen. And do you want to know a secret? And do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Listen. want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, close, listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to listen.
I'm curious how much slapback we have to contend with here on the original.
Listen, do you want to know a secret?
Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh, listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. Never know how much I really
Love you. You'll never know.
how much you'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh.
I'm liking that so far. It's a different mic for me that I'm usually using on the vocals. It's actually this microphone here, the LCT, the Lewitt 540S. So the top end is completely different than the Mini K47, the Roswell that I'm usually using on vocals. The Roswell is way softer on the top end. This is definitely more pronounced. It's not harsh or anything. It feels smooth, but it's not near as smooth or as warm as the Roswell 47. So a little bit different animal.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to listen. Do you want to know a secret?
So what we've got going on the vocal, you can see there's this giant boost here at 8K, giving it a ton of brightness, a ton of air up on the top end there, 11 dB at 8K. Doing our 7 to 10 dB reduction here. I keep pulling the de-esser down and messing with it to try and get it to sit right. It's just because of the different top end on the Lewitt mic here. Adding a touch of bottom end here at 143 dB. I have another high pass on the end because it's something that I've encountered with the Lewitt mic. Some of the plosives come through even with the Lewitt windscreen on there. So just something to mess with there. And then this vocal is going into the vocal bus here where the effects sends are. but soothe is also here, taking care of the harsh area. So looking at 2K and above here, really kind of honing in on this like 4K area where the harsh frequencies start to poke out. I've got it dialed up to 1.5 here, sharpness all the way up, selectivity kind of in the middle here, fast attack, fast release. Let me show you what that's doing.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer.
So anything that gets too crazy on some of those longer notes, soothe is there to take care of that. Effects-wise, I'm just using the slap delay and the verb. It's more of a sparse song, and it's a chiller song, so I'm not going to reach for the stereo delay, I don't think. The slapback is just a mono slapback, 100 millisecond slap delay, rolling off everything below 300 and everything above 3K. And I have the drive cranked all the way up as well, so it's a distorted slap delay. And then the reverb is an impulse response of the Lexicon 480, the A plate, 2-second plate reverb here with 150 millisecond pre-delay, just so the verb isn't sitting directly on top of our vocal. I'm going to finish up the track here before we start referencing. So I'm going to take a gander at these guys here, and I'm honestly going to give them all a 3 dB boost just so they're louder and I don't have to push compression so hard on them. We're going to do, let's see, I'm actually just going to pull in my lead vocal chain on these, but we won't need that, and we shouldn't need the de-esser either.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do,
High pass.
do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
I'm going to make this loop a little bit shorter here.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
That's better.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
Then a little bit of 3K.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
This is a double.
Do-da-do, do-da-do, do-da-do.
Cool. Those are actually our high ones. Here's our low guys. So we'll need just a little bit different processing, probably pulling the high pass back.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
Compressor's fine.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
Same thing, we'll copy that across.
Do-da-do, 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 do-da-do.
Dial soothe up a little bit. And I'm just going to drag across, actually, we don't need the slap delay, but I'm going to drag the reverb across. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to keep that flat plate verb here, and let's level them in to begin with.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, not to tell. Whoa, closer.
We're going to shorten up this plate here, maybe half.
Closer.
Now listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to?
Just a touch more top end there.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to listen. Do you,
To know a secret.
do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Ooh, 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 ooh.
So I'm going to loop kind of a weird section here on the vocals. Just because I don't want so much space in between here. But we're going to listen through the full track. Kind of see where everything is sitting here so far.
You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you love to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh, listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you love to hear.
as well. My mic was muted there while I was talking as I came back. But all I was saying is, if you want to download these multi-tracks, if you want to mix along with the stream, the link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description. You can download these multi-tracks. The song is called "Do You Want to Know a Secret?" Completely for free. And you can mix along with the stream, or you can just use it for your own mixing practice. And there's tons and tons of other multi-tracks on the page with links back to the previous streams as well. We're going to start referencing here. I'm going to keep the original track in here just as a little bit of influence. We can look at it and kind of see if there's anything we can gain from it. But with the older songs, usually we're lacking bottom end and top end, but we can usually gain something from the mid-range. We're going to listen to 50 hertz and below here to start. So if you are listening on subs, be careful. This is going to get a little bit loud. But let's kind of see where our kick drum is sitting to start here. So here's our original. You can hear the kick drum is like non-existent there, but the bass actually sounds pretty good. Here's 50 to 100 now, so an octave up. The bass actually sounds really nice in the original, which is interesting. I'm happy with the bottom end, so let's jump all the way up now. I like to go from super, super lows to the super, super highs, kind of see where everything's sitting. Here's where we'll find out if I did okay with the top end on the vocal. Not that loud, though. Cool, let's listen to our kick. Okay, I like that so far. I'm actually going to push that vocal back up, I think. I'm pretty happy with where the instruments are sitting. I might bump them up a half dB here as we move along, but let's see. Instruments actually sound great in this range, so let's keep moving down 1K to 2K here. Moving down 500 to 1K. Cool, sounded good. 200 to 500, a little over an octave here. All right, last little frequency range here, 100 to 250. All right, that's feeling pretty good there.
You promise not to tell. Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you love to hear. Listen.
Now we're gonna add the parallel chain here, even though it's a chiller song. It's not nothing too crazy, too heavy. I still want to add the parallel chain and give it some extra oomph. So all we're doing here is I'm sending from my mix A, which is my pseudo style mix bus here, into this mix B bus here. So sending a full copy of the mix bus into here, and I'm using this 33609 style compressor, and we're clamping down on the entire mix by about 7 to 10 dB. 100 millisecond recovery, 2-to-1 ratio, 7 to 10 dB reduction. But then after that, excuse me, I have this Neve style EQ, adding 3 dB at 60 and 3 dB at 7K. So a little bit of heat, a little bit of shine. We're gonna mix that in here underneath our original track.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa.
It gives us more forwardness on the vocal, adds just a touch more punch to the kick and snare.
Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you.
Let's add the fade out here. Gonna be a short fade out, classic early Beatles style. All right, that feels pretty good. We might be able to move that up.
You'll never know how much I really love you.
All right, let's listen to the entire track here. So I'm actually going to bump my meter up to 0 here. Quickly adjust it on the stream so we don't blow away OBS, the streaming system here. But we're going to listen full volume all the way through. We're going to do once on the headphones and then once on the mains here in the room. And we will be done here. We might even be under an hour today, shorter song. But let's take a listen here all the way through full volume.
You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen. Want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you love to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh, listen. Do you want to know a secret? Promise not to tell. Whoa,
That feels really good. So let's take a listen here. We're going to switch to the mains in the room here and kind of see how everything feels on the big speakers. But other than that, I think we're done with this one. I didn't have any tweaks there on the headphones at full volume. You saw me mess a little bit with the volume on the background vocals, but I think they feel good. Let's see how everything sits here on the big speakers in the room.
You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. Listen, do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh, listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh, I've known the secret for the week or two. Nobody knows, just we two. Now listen. Do you want to know a secret? Do you promise not to tell? Whoa, closer. Let me whisper in your ear. Say the words you long to hear. I'm in love with you. Oh,
That feels good. I'm happy with that. I did end up pulling the background vocals down listening here in the room. I tried pushing the lead up just to even a half dB. It felt like it sat okay where it was. I added a little bit more verb to it. Not quite as crazy as the original, all panned off to one side with them, but it feels good where it's sitting there. The verb actually felt really nice on the background vocals. Everything sits really, really nicely. I am happy with the level of the instruments, the electric and the acoustic. Those stand nicely on the sides of the track. Everything feels really good. So I'm happy with this. We're going to call this one done here. The link to download the multi-tracks is incorrect. Oh, we should go fix that right now then, shouldn't we? So let's go and grab the correct one. Thank you for letting me know that. The link is to last week's song, so we'll fix that here really quickly. So this guy here should be this one. All right, that should be updated now. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. That should be all fixed now. Right pertaining to that topic, if you do want to download the multi-tracks for this song, the link at the top of the chat or at the top of the description will take you to the page that now has the correct link under Do You Want to Know a Secret with the link back to the stream here as well. So you can download the multi-tracks completely for free, follow along with the stream here, or just use them for your own mixing practice as well. The one below it should be correct as well, but I'll make sure the stream from last week has the correct link on it as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me here for another stream, and I will see you in the next one very, very soon.